So your energy manifests on the Rainbow Road, and you are the leader of a marching band. And I see first, like, it almost looks like kind of those toy soldiers, like a drummer boy. That's kind of like what the marching band looks like, in rows of like 2 by 2. And they're all following you, and you have like a whistle, and your hair's in pigtails, and you've got that, what's that, baton, and you're like doing this march, and leading the band, and then all of a sudden you kind of break down and get real like funky with it, and like the band's kind of still being traditional, and you're all kind of doing your own thing, and then you go back to the very like proper marching band style, being the leader of the marching band. And so then you turn around and you look at the band, and they all turn into these little kittens, and you then become what looks like a girl at a sleepover party, like, little shorts and a little cami shirt, hair and pigtails, and you have this bowl of milk, and you're walking backwards, and all these little kittens are following you, and I hear all these little mews of, the kittens mewing and following you, and you're leading them to like a big bed. And this big bed, I can see like there's a window with a moon outside, and you crawl into bed, and all these kittens like follow you into bed, and they start purring, and everybody's sleeping, like you and all these kittens are all sleeping, and there's like all this intense purring going on, so much that I'm getting like little squiggles of lines, like I feel like the bed would be shaking that you're laying on, and I see like a close-up of your face, and you're just like in heaven. You are totally like in your element. And so from here, your energy manifests into, it's some kind of traditional Japanese. So my father was stationed in Japan. I was actually made in Japan, and he brought me back from being a Marine. He brought me back when he was stationed there, this doll, and it wasn't like a playing doll. It was like more of a statue, kind of ornamental doll, and what I'm seeing looks exactly like this doll, or like a depiction of a Japanese figure in all of the traditional, like Japanese tattooing, when they tattoo like an image of a traditional Japanese person with the like very boxy, I think it's called a kimono, and like that really wide thick belt that goes around the midsection, and the hair's pulled back black. There's like no color in the face except for like the cheek area. Very like oval face, and the hair's pulled back black, and it's in like those kind of hoop, I don't know, those like buns, but not buns, but like almost hoops that you could stick things through. And so I see this image, and inside the hair there's these two what look like big knitting needles, like with balls on the end, and this person pulls out these two knitting needles and like gets in this like not traditional, but I keep getting the word traditional, this like stance where, so I have 2 sons, and 5 and 3, and they watch Ninja Turtles, so I only know this next word from that, but like one of the Ninja Turtles has sais, and it's those like 3-pronged things, and this Japanese character takes these like knitting needles out of his hair, and gets in this position where one leg's kind of bent up and poised, almost like a fighting, striking position, and has the knitting needles kind of pointed out, like the Ninja Turtle holds the sais and points those out like in a fighting, battling kind of stance. And I see this happening, and I see this figure continue to like make 1 or 2 foot movements, and then get into like another traditional stance, and it's almost like I'm watching. And so what I deduce this down to is the word that finally gets me there is ceremonial. So I'm getting that there's this connection to like a traditional Japanese ceremonial something, and it seemed very like choreographed. I'm not sure. And so as soon as I say the word ceremonial, the person kind of looks at me, puts the hands together almost in like a karate like bow type of a thing, like fist on hand, and like bows down at me, and I'm like, all right, I think I got it, ceremonial. And so from here, then the energy, it's pulled to this figure, and it's a female figure riding in the back of a gondola, and I hear her. So if you've listened to any of my other readings, everything has to do with a Disney movie. So I hear that song like from Lady and the Tramp, "This is the night, the most beautiful night," and they call it something, and so I hear the song playing, and you're on the back of this gondola, and you're like going under a bridge, and there's this like, what are those things called? The accordion guy playing on the top of the bridge, and I can feel your lovers like in the back, like almost like seducing's the wrong word, like courting you, doing, I feel like they're like, I don't know, swooning over you type of a thing. But it's so funny because you lay in the back, and your like hand is over your face, over your forehead, almost like you're pretending to faint. And I feel like you're being so dramatic and kind of like playing up this moment. And if I would have to like put any energy to it, I don't know this book at all. I probably should, but like the Scarlett O'Hara from, God, what is even the super famous? What's Gone with the Wind? Like, I feel like this is like something she would do, and like put her hand up and like almost like faint, like, oh, somebody catch me. So I feel like you're being really dramatic, and this is kind of how you're acting in the back of this boat gondola. And so then, and I ask him like, okay, what's the title of this reading? And I get feelings. So then you dock the gondola, or the person courting you docks the gondola. You get out and you run to somewhere inside of a building, and it's like this big ball. But it's almost like, I feel like people are kind of like swing dancing inside the ball, but it's like it's still a ball, so it's not swing dancing, and it's not that time era, but I feel like it's some European kind of country. And so then I get I think it's from Mary Poppins, or what's that other one? The one with all the kids. The Hills Are Alive, The Sound of Music. So there's this like music that starts playing, and it's the step in time, step in time, step in time, step in time, hum-diddly, hum-diddly, everybody step in time. I don't know if that's the words, but it's that song keeps playing and playing like faster and faster, and you're like doing these spins, and like I feel like your hands are kind of out, and you're pushing against somebody else's hands, and you're doing these like spins, and it's very like old time, but I don't know, there's something very free about it. And so from here, the energy moves instantly through the portal, and you turn into this ghostly figure, and this ghost then gets down in this road, and it's complete openness and nothing's around you. And I get two sensations, like one is like the corpse bride, and the other is from like the Dia de Muertos, so the Day of the Dead. Like I get your in like the fifth dimension. So third dimension is us humans, right, living in this physical plane. Fourth dimension is just like time space. It's like a traveling dimension. Fifth dimension is like where ghosts go. It's like a dimension people who don't transition to heaven go into, like a purgatory type situation. And then the sixth dimension is heaven. So I see you in this fifth dimension, in this like holding plane, and I'm getting this connection to a lost love. And so we got pulled right from this like this dancing step in time. I felt like again you were kind of free and almost like being courted again, and pulled right into this like corpse bride, or I feel like you've lost a love. And so, and then the Dia de Muertos, like the that movie that just came out, like he has to like sacrifice himself to go down to the dimension where, or it's kind of one of the levels of, it's not hell, but what's that? He has to go down to this area where all the dead are kept, and rescue her, this girl, this love, to be able to reunite in the real world. And so I'm getting this feeling of this lost love, and this trapped, and this being separated from a love like too early on. And so after I get this, I see your energy, I see a white light come down into this dimension. I see you choose to move into the white light, and you move into the white light. As I see you move into the sixth dimension, or into like the heaven dimension, I see you surrounded by your angels, your guides, and you're excited, and they're excited, and they say, "Are you ready to do it again?" And referencing like to go back to or earth and live another life, and you're so excited and you say, I can't wait, I want to do it again, and I want to find him. And I get that you're so excited to reincarnate and go back to life and like find this lost love. And so now I'm connecting everything that's happened. I'm possibly thinking I've been seeing a bunch of past lives with this love, this connection for you. And so we're moving from a life where you lost the love too early. And so now you're choosing, and I believe it's probably this life. And so I'm watching you write your lesson plan for this life. And you're saying, I want to find him early. I want to find him so early so we can be together for a long time. And so, all the plans are made, everything's kind of, all the contracts are made, and then I see the incarnation, the rebirth or whatever process, and you come into this life. And the one thing is that I get that there's a difference. So I get that there's a strong difference between you and this person, because what I see when you're young, I get that you meet this love of your life when you're young. And one of the interesting things is I get that you're very different from this person you meet, because I feel like there's this instant knowing, this instant attraction, this instant almost like soul connection. Like you are kindred spirits. You are like so connected that when the two of you meet in this lifetime, I get that there's just this instant calm, this instant knowing, this instant comfort level you have with this person. And it's like you have been married forever, but you find this person young. And I get that there was this kind of maybe difference between you and this person, because it's almost like I feel it's a surprise, like it's not something expected, but when you see this person, it's like this knowing. And so then I see you move into the Akashic records, and you walk up to your Akashic records, and I see these big stone pillars, like what would stand outside of a state building or something in Washington, like those almost like flowered pillars that have deep kind of concaves, and like something that would be outside the Lincoln Memorial or something. And so your records are like all American is what I'm getting. And so as we move into your records and through the door, it's the United Nations. And so it's so funny because everything, all these past lives that I've seen, I get like there's an Italy, there's a Japan, there's I felt like some Europe, there was like America. I get that there's like this United Nations, right? And everybody's like just kind of vying for your attention in here. And so it's really interesting. I would wonder if you have lived like a ton of lives with this person. And so I call down your higher self and I ask your higher self what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time. And your higher self tells me basically that everything thus far is true, that the connection is so deep between the two of you. And they pull me back to the title, and they, to feelings, and they say, the one thing with this is that you need to make sure that you basically remember, or sometimes I guess what I was led to understand is that, with connections that go this deep and with connections that are this strong and last through so many lifetimes, and they were telling me that the two of you have such a bond through so many lifetimes, they say because of this, we can tend to forget the passion, or it's not so much the passion, but it gets so comfortable because you've lived so many lifetimes, and it's like the energy of this person inside and out, and it's so easy that it's not that new puppy love, right? And it could be, but it's almost like that has to be created. And they were saying, don't forget the feelings, and maybe like these funny kind of visions of I don't know what's been painted kind of throughout this is to remind you of that fun, that connection, and just how deep the love runs between you and your partner in this lifetime. And that when that happens, you have to cultivate, and you have to like remember you continue to choose each other, and they say you guys are like each other's stabilizing force, and that now it's time to like because you have that cultivated energy between you, it's like bringing that into the world. And you know, you're not choosing this because it's hard. It's not like you have to learn the lesson. It's more like you're using the stabilizing connection between the two of you to bring even more energy into the world. And so to continue to relish in the other person and their energy, and continue to love, passionately would be a good word, but like to continue to love, like vibrantly, like because you choose each other every time. And so that, you know, that's kind of the messages that I was feeling from this. So with light and love.